It's the Cranka how-to and review, and we're giving away one of every color. Let's get into it. So Cranka are 100% known for the Cranka crab. It's taken the Australian fishing industry by storm, worldwide even, particularly over the last 5 to I guess 7 years. Today, we are talking about their re-release of their minnows, the Cranka Minnow. At the start of the year, the line or series of lures, if you like, re-released a bunch of different colors, and Cranka found them sold out pretty quickly. And rightfully so. Their lures historically have caught a lot of fish. Initially, it was a little bit difficult to get my hands on these lures. If you're interested in the Cranka crab, there's a video up there that I've done previously on it. But the minnow, today we're gonna look at the lure, the size, we're gonna take it on the water, give it a test, and I'm gonna show you some of the techniques that I have been able to catch fish with on this lure. I did have to do a little bit of learning with the lure, and that's okay. Let's get into it. So the Cranka lure is 55 mil in length, and it's quite slender in shape. It does come across as a bait fish minnow slash jerkbait type profile. It does come in both the shallow and the deep, with the shallow going to advertised depth of 0.5 meter to 1 meter deep. Now, I didn't really reckon I got it that deep. I reckon it's kind of sat around about the 60 centimeter or 2 foot mark for me. But if you do want a little bit deeper than that, there is the deeper model that is advertised to go to 1.5 to 2 meters deep. Such is pretty standard with the minnow type profile or the jerkbait space, and that both of these lures do suspend and are designed to stay in front of the fish's face for as long as possible. And I think that's a pretty important factor when it comes to working this lure. It did take me a little while to get used to it, but I find that suspension is pretty key. I'll talk about that in a moment. In terms of colors, there's some traditional ones in there, but like I mentioned at the start, at the start of 2021, end of 2020, they re-released the line with 3 new colors. Now, from personal experience, they catch a bunch of fish, the new ones in particular, but if you have a look at the range and check out the Cranka website, there's a bit of a clue about what the lures are designed to do and where they're designed, what fish they're designed to catch. It basically says bait fish imitation that has been designed for Australia for a wide range of different fish species. So if you're new to the channel, for me, I usually target our bread and butter species here in Australia, bream, whiting, and flathead, and I've caught all of them using this lure. I did message a mate of mine in Tasmania with Jack asking for a couple of photos, to see what he had been catching with them, and he sent some really great photos of these brown trout that he'd actually caught as well. They're really quite impressive, but it goes to show the versatility of the lure. Now, full disclosure here, I've had this lure for around about 4, maybe gusting 5 months as I filmed this video. I got the lures initially in that re-release, and we got a full set of lures at the same time. I've taken my time a little bit with this review because the lure was actually quite new to me. I hadn't used it before, and I really wanted to see where it worked best. So the first group of fish I caught with this lure were whiting. I found a number of schools on a shallow flat, maybe about 2 foot deep, and it was just party town. I'll show you a catch here, but the wind is providing a nice bit of cover. It is breaking up the surface, so the fish aren't seeing me there, but there's a little bit of light still shining through, and that is why I went with the fleck with a lure with the fleck on the side. And in this case, I found that smelt color has this really nice light brown slash orangey color to it. It really contrasts nicely and blends in a little bit with a sand flats type color. And the fleck on the side provides a little bit of reflection if you have that little bit of light coming through. And now I'm also in a setup that's got 4 pound straight through fluorocarbon, and you can see the speed at which the lure is being worked. Typically, I've got the option there of going for a surface lure or a subsurface. In this case, there's a bit of weed on the top of the water, so we've gone for the minnow presentation. Here's the first sequence. Look at that. How good. How good. Look at that. You'll notice I've also changed the rear treble to a single hook, and that's specifically because I'm targeting whiting on the day. They've got smaller mouths and the stinger systems really work kind of nicely to fit both their mouth, but also if you're moving the lure rapidly, they usually attack it from the rear, and the stinger system really works well if a lure is getting hit from the backside. The other color I was interested in was the barbecue prawn, and you can see why. It's got that yabby shrimp kind of color to it, and it's not one of the new ones, but it didn't also disappoint. I thought it worked really well. After 4 casts, it got its first fish. Yeah. It is a Taylor or something. Yeah, it's Taylor. But the other color I was really excited to try was the Hardy Head. Now, this is one of the re-releases that has just come out, and it kind of makes sense that Hardy Head might be a bit popular. The Hardy Head is a type of bait fish that we have here in Australia, and you can find it in a bunch of different waterways throughout the year. And of course, if you think about it that way, this lure was never really going to disappoint us. But it found itself clunked pretty quickly. The lure was wound, it was paused, and then when I touched the reel again to go, there was a fish on the end of it, and I was pretty pumped with this fish. Right, yep. Oh, he doesn't like it. Doesn't like it one bit. There's good side. There's right. Out of the 10 colors that are in that range, there's probably 4 of them that I like, and the 4th is, I guess, a known catcher in this series. It probably wouldn't be a review if I didn't mention it, and that is the Jolly Tail. It's definitely one of the best known catchers in the range, and when I did speak to one of the Cranka Pro staff about where to start and some advice on this lure, that is where they directed me to straight away. It's got a natural color about it, but it isn't so obtuse. It's got a little bit of a golden fleck, there's a little bit of a green in it, so the bait fish looks quite natural. It's one of my favorites, and straight out of the box, it has caught a bunch of fish for me. Yep. Tail's all stationary, just leaving it there. So now that you've seen them catching fish and you know that they run out of the store quickly, we're giving away one of every set. So that's 10 lures, they're valued about $21 a lure, and we've been lucky to get our hands on the set. So at the end of the random giveaway, it'll be a like for the video, subscribe to the channel, and a comment below on what your favorite color is. In a week's time from now, I'll be randomly selecting a name from the comments below, and I'll throw it up on this video in the comments there, who has won. I'll also put it up on my social media. So get involved. So after using the lure for, the period of time that I have now, I've probably come to 4 conclusions about the lure. The first is that you have to be patient with the retrieve. I found about a good 70% of my catches have all come whilst the lure has been paused. And when I say paused, I mean a good 5 to 10 seconds. It is a long pause. If you're into giving this lure a try, definitely be patient with it. The second is the trebles. Now, in terms of the trebles and the hooks that are on the lure, they are OEM Japanese made lures specifically, or Japanese made hooks specifically for Cranka. Straight out of the box, they are super sharp, and after talking to Cranka about them, they did mention that they are set up to be pro-like hooks. What that means is that they're straight out of the box, they're ready to go on a tournament space, they're super tacky, they're super sharp, but they do have a cost of longevity. Now, when Cranka mentioned that to me, I kind of agreed already. And what I mean by that is that after a few months of usage, I grabbed one that I hadn't used since the first month. I think I was about 3 months in. Got a couple of fish and then noticed that the treble started breaking on me. I had a few examples of the treble or a treble snapping off in the fish's mouth. What does that mean? It is important. To be honest, not really. It's just a consideration for you if you're the type of guy that will fish the lures maybe over the summer period, leave them over winter, and then come back to them 6 months later in your box, and they've just been sitting there and you haven't really taken care of them. They are the lure, they are the type of trebles that you do need to wash in a bit of fresh water to make last, if that is you. Would I not buy this lure because of that? Certainly not. No, I'd definitely buy the lure. My message here is for you guys just to be aware that you should take care of your trebles. If you leave them in salt water to rust, well, they will decay. They are super, super sharp out of the box, and they work a treat. The third point, and I alluded to it earlier, is that they are not as erratic as, say, a double clutch. They are in the vibration spectrum, I guess, a medium ranged vibrating lure. That means if you're fishing with fluorocarbon, you might not get a lot of feedback in the rod as you're working it. And if you're the type of person that likes that feedback, you're probably going to be best suited to braid. I found about 2 lengths, maybe 3-4 pound leader is my kind of space there. So the fourth point is, like the advertising mentions on the page, they do catch a range of fish. That 59mm bait profile, 6 centimeters or just over 2 inches, I guess, is a really common baitfish size that you'll find in our streams and estuaries. That, coupled with the fact that they've got a few different ranges of prawn patterns, baitfish patterns, and those patterns that the trout and those freshwater streamy fish that you wade for are keen on, mean that I found the lure quite versatile, but more importantly, quite fun to use. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember the giveaway, stay safe. I'll see you next time.